and undermining it would be useful. But these groups also have affiliates in many other countries in Africa, and as we've seen, an al-Qaeda leader was also captured within the last 24 hours in another African country, which is Libya. So, it's part of a campaign where, if you capture or kill one person, it hardly means that these groups are out of business. On the other hand, it's not just whack-a-mole. If you capture or kill dozens of leaders of an organization, it tends to really grind it down, and that's what's happened with al-Qaeda Central in Pakistan, where even Osama bin Laden was keenly aware that the drone program had decimated his top leadership.
Okay. Peter, stand by. I'm being told now that we have CNN military analyst Lieutenant Rick Fancona on the line now from Eugene, Oregon. Lieutenant Colonel, what are you hearing about the 2 U.S. Special Forces operations in Libya and Somalia?
Well, the one in Somalia was tailor-made for the SEALs. Doesn't surprise me at all that they would go in there. If you look at this town, Barawe, it's about 100 miles south of Mogadishu. It's right on the coast. It allows the Navy access, to it from the ocean. That's what they do. It works very well. In Tripoli, it's a different situation. You're operating inside the capital city. That would have probably required the support and acknowledgement of the Libyan government. Although it's weak, you still need to be able to operate in the city safely. So these look like maybe not exactly coordinated operations, but they were going after high-value targets. One could have gone without the other, but the fact that they did them both, I think, is a real signal that the United States, no matter how long it takes, will go after these targets.
Colonel, you heard our Foreign Affairs correspondent say this, Elise Labott. You heard our senior international correspondent, Nick Robertson, say it as well. The concern now would be about possible violent reactions in Libya as well as Somalia.
Yeah, I think that's concerning in both places. Al-Shabaab will not, just take this. They will try to mount some sort of retaliation. Now, what capability do they have to retaliate against the Navy SEALs? That might not be so great. But they could launch another attack inside Kenya, aimed at the West, aimed at the Kenyan government, which is supporting the United States. The United States and Kenya have a very close working relationship, so they may go after these soft targets, as Peter mentioned, rather than going after things that they know they can't successfully attack anymore. We've hardened some of the embassies. We've semi-secured civil aviation, but malls are the new airplanes. They may go after something like that. In Libya, Abu Anas al-Libi, by his name, you know that he was a Libyan national. So there may be reprisals aimed at the American facilities there. And, as I think it was Germana said, that the Libyan government is very, very weak. They will be very, very strained to prevent attacks on U.S. facilities. We're going to have to secure those facilities ourselves. So, yeah, this is the beginning of the operation, not the end.
So if I'm sitting at home watching Lieutenant Colonel Fancona and Don Lemon on television, I'm wondering what this means to, Mrs. Lemon at home, or Mrs. Fancona, or Mr. Johnson in Iowa. What does this mean to the average American?
It means that we may have embarked on another set of operations. We may be in for some bad news in the next few days. We may be in for some good news as American forces continue to take down some of these targets. But what it demonstrates to the country is that we are not lying down and being overrun by terrorists. We are fighting back, and I think that's a good signal to send, not only to the bad guys, but I think it's important that the people at home realize that we are standing up for ourselves.
An interesting signal to send when back home our government is shut down. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Fancona. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more with someone here. He's from the New Yorker magazine. He knows all